Hello my loves, welcome back to Carly's Closet, and in today's video this is gonna be a bit of a new topic for me because it is a whole new experience that I got to experience. I just returned from my trip abroad where I was solo traveling across a few countries in Europe. As you guys may have known previously from a couple of my other videos, I was getting prepared for that trip and kind of buying outfits for it, and now I have finally returned home from that trip and gathered so much amazing content, experience, data, information about myself through the experience. And I thought that it would be really interesting for me to come on here and share with you things that I've learned from solo traveling abroad. And I know that as someone who is a solo traveler, or someone who is maybe just wanting to get out there and become a solo traveler but is very fearful of the experience beforehand, it can be comforting to hear from other YouTubers or just some of your favorite content creators and other Americans, shall I say, that are going travel the world alone. It is very scary. I am not going to sit here and tell you that I was just so ready, so excited, never had any, unresolved issues come up for me before the trip took place, because they absolutely did. But guess what? I did it, and I'm here to share with you things that I've learned through that. And yeah, I hope that this is a topic that you're interested in hearing all about. And by the way, I'm not sure if this video will go up first or my travel vlog will go up first, but of course, while I was traveling around, I did film some content when I could, because unfortunately I did have a mishap with my camera. My camera lens ended up breaking mid-trip. Yes, I know. So I ended up having to use my cell phone for the remainder of the trip. But anyways, I'm not sure if this video is going to go up first or the vlog will, because it is still in the process of being edited. But nonetheless, either one, just be on the lookout on my channel for my travel vlog around Italia, because I would love for you to see the content that I got and pretty much everything that I did while I was solo traveling. So if this is a topic interesting to you, then make sure you stick around. Okay, so what I learned from solo travel abroad. Now, as I was saying, I was very scared. You guys, I had just leading up to this trip, and like as it got closer and it was approaching closer to my leave date, I was really reconsidering a lot of things. I was actually ended up crying and just having a small little breakdown to some friends and family about me. Like I thought that I just didn't want to go because I was just scared of a lot of things, and being in a foreign country alone, and just, I mean, like thinking about traveling to a foreign country by yourself is, it's anxiety inducing. And so obviously those things came up for me, and I just worked through them. I let them be felt as I would normally do. I let the anxiety kind of overtake me for a small moment there, but I am just somebody who, when I set my mind to something, I'm gonna do it. That's just always been who I am at my core. And so it leads me to my first point of things that I've learned from solo traveling abroad, is that you will never feel ready to do it. You just do it anyway. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. And that could be irregardless of if this is your first solo trip abroad, or if this is your 5th solo trip abroad. Anytime that you're going to be in a new foreign place, a foreign country where maybe the majority of people don't speak English, you are going to feel a lot of fear unless you are just someone who has reached peak levels of inner growth and you don't feel fear like that. But for us normal people, for us average people, we do feel the fear, but we just do it anyways. And it has been really a refreshing reminder to myself that even though I feel fear in doing certain things, even if I am just, at home living my day-to-day life, some things might be scary, but you just have to push through it and do the thing anyway to achieve what it is that you want to be done. Okay, and that also kind of brings me to the next point that I learned from solo traveling abroad. Hopefully I stay in focus, you guys. I'm using a different camera here. Sorry if I go to focus. That's just what it is. But the second point is that everyone will tell you that you're brave. Everyone you meet when you are abroad, people that you are having actual conversations with, when they ask you if you're alone, because you know, you meet them, you talk to them, they're gonna probably ask you if you're alone if you don't have somebody with you. um, they will tell you that you're brave. I had heard that from multiple different people that I had met, that I was brave to do that, and it's just refreshing to hear that. It's a huge compliment to remind myself that yeah, I am brave, because yeah, in my world it doesn't seem like a very brave thing to do, because that's just normal for me. You know, I'm following all of this content of all of these other solo travelers, and that's just what they're doing, and it's almost in my head, in my reality, it's like, wait, isn't everybody doing this? Wait, isn't everyone like fearless of traveling abroad by themselves? But no, it's a reminder that most people aren't brave enough to do this alone. And so I love to hear that I am brave for the achievement of going solo, because you're just tired of hearing all of the excuses of your friends and family as to why they can't join you, right? Join you in your travels. Let's see, the next thing that I learned about solo traveling abroad is you don't need the full-sized hygiene products. It is just extra luggage weight. Now I thought, okay, I'm going to be gone for nearly a month. Of course I'm going to need my full-size shampoo and conditioner products, but no, I did not need it, because I was staying in mostly hotels, and all the hotels mostly provide you with shampoo and conditioner and body wash and things of that nature. So of course, unless you're somebody who has to use some kind of specific shampoo and conditioner, or some kind of specific body wash, or you know, some kind of specific bar soap, then just bringing the travel size bottles with you is plenty enough, because you're going to have access to that. And even if you need more, you can always just jump to this closest supermarket to purchase another small bottle. But trust me, you're going to want to save the luggage weight, because it was such a hassle for me to drag around my very heavy luggage. I had a huge suitcase, which was 50 pounds, okay? Then I had a small carry-on, and then I had my backpack. And it was a lot to hassle around, especially because I was traveling, jumping locations every couple of days. It was very stressful at times, especially when traveling around Italy, because especially on the coast, you know, there's a lot of hills, there's a lot of steps, there's cobblestone, right? But if you ask me if I would do it all over again, well, the answer is yes, I would do it all over again. Do you know why? Because I take photographs. I need to have my wardrobe options with me. I need to have things. That's what makes me feel safer. It makes me feel more comfortable, and like it's like a home base for me, you know what I mean? It's like that special blankie that you carry around with you, or you sleep with at night. Like, it is comforting to know that I have belongings with me and things that make me feel more at home within myself, and that's what my clothes do for me. So I would do it all over again, even though it was such a headache. The next thing that I learned was that I needed to relax, because I will make my train in time. I traveled countless number of trains, countless number of planes, and as somebody who is generally very timely, I was always scared that I maybe perhaps wouldn't make it, because maybe perhaps I wouldn't be able to figure out where I needed to go, what I needed to do, that I wouldn't make from point A to point B in time. But I always did. I always got lucky. I was always pretty generally close to where my trains were coming in and the times that I needed to be there. I like they do move very quickly. They do, like, you gotta hop on as soon as you can, as soon as you get there. Don't be late. Sometimes you'll see people running to catch their trains because they do move very, very fast. But for someone like me who is always a step ahead, I just needed to relax a little bit more because I never had a situation where I didn't make my train. So another thing that I learned is that locals are always friendly to tourists. I was always being helped by locals with my luggage, especially me being, you know, a solo young lady traveling, you know, with all of this heavy luggage. It was a challenge to sometimes get my suitcase up the steps in some of the smaller train stations where they don't have the lifts. And I found that locals, you know, Italian guys, of course, are generally pretty helpful. And that's just also another very refreshing thing to remind yourself, is that people will help you when they see you struggling and they see a young lady that is, you know, having to carry her luggage by herself. And also I learned, which was something very, very fascinating to me, is that you will meet so many people that speak English. And I think that was something that I was very fearful of going in, was that I thought I wouldn't find a lot of people who spoke English and that would be able to communicate with me. But guess what? Everyone I met along the way, with very, very few exceptions of people, spoke English. And I think that that is so fascinating because English is usually their second language. That's not their first language that they are born into, but like the fact that they are so fluent in a second language is just fascinating to me. And I feel like a dummy because I speak only English, and when I'm talking to Italians who speak English and Italian, like I just feel dumb. I'm like, wow, I need to get myself together. I need to go learn a second language because this is like, it can be a hard skill, but it's such a valuable skill to have, to speak multiple languages. And of course, by the way, any of the transportation, any of the high tourism areas, any of the train stations, you are guaranteed to find workers that speak English, because these people, like, they generally have to hire people that speak English for tourism, okay? Also, other travelers are just as confused in a foreign country as you are, okay? You think walking around that you don't know where to go. You believe that when you're walking around using your Google Maps on your iPhone, that you have a little bit of nervousness, you have a little bit of anxiety because you don't really know which way to go, and you are maybe struggling to read the map and like locating your hotel, your home base. You might be confused on some of the signs, right, that maybe are in Italian. Like, whatever the case is, getting around a foreign country can be a little fear-inducing. And guess what? Other travelers are also just as confused and nervous as you are, because I had to actually help a few other travelers in navigating their way around, and like helping them with the train system, like buying the tickets and stuff. And like, I was also helping this other girl make sure that we both got on the right train, and that because we were both going to the same place and we just didn't know exactly what train to take, which direction to go. Everyone that is not from there, local to the country you're in, is also nervous, just like you are in getting around, and you can really read that from their energy and just from the questions that they're asking and whatnot. Like, it's not just you. That is the whole case in point here. It is not just you that is nervous. It is also the foreigners around you, the other travelers, that are also a little bit nervous of trying to navigate their way around, okay? It's just that most commonly the other travelers have other people, like somebody with them, to be nervous along with them. So it is a little different when you're solo, but nonetheless, you're all a little bit nervous, okay? Also, another thing that I've learned is that small towns are better than the big city attractions. I actually already knew this, or kind of already assumed this going in, just because I am somebody who prefers more of the smaller towns. But especially going around Italy, there was a lot of the big tourist cities and attractions that I didn't really care much to go and see, well, at least for this trip, because I wanted to focus more in on these smaller towns, the areas that not a lot of tourism is going into. It's a lot more locals. It's a lot more authentic Italian food. And sometimes those quaint little towns are just so much more, they give you so much more peace, and you feel more at ease getting around them, and it's a little bit easier and it's a little bit less stressful, right? Because when I was in Milan, I actually was a little stressed out because I was just, I mean, it's a big city. It's kind of like, I guess, the New York City of Italia. Ooh, excuse me. And it was just a lot of trying to jump from place to place, and of course they have the metro system, so you hop in the metro system, you hop off where you want to be. It's just a lot bigger. It's just a lot more brain power that you have to use to get around, and that might be fun for maybe one day, but like for me, I don't really like that. I prefer the smaller towns that are kind of easier to navigate, you know, where you can just walk around and then just hop in to these little shops and spend the day doing that, right? The last thing I think I want to mention for this video, because I could go on and on about this, but don't want to make this thing too long, what I've learned from solo traveling abroad is that I hate living out of a suitcase. I love fashion too much. You guys, wait, I'm gonna add a bonus here too. Obviously, as someone who does fashion modeling and takes photographs, I hate living out of a suitcase for too long. I need to have my closet of options. I am not somebody who could ever go backpacking, because hello, you are very limited in the amount of clothes that you have. Kudos to you girls who can do that and wear the same things over and over again, but as a fashionista like myself, that is just not the alley for me. I was tired of looking at the same clothes in my suitcase over and over again, even though there were things that I didn't even wear. Like, I brought things that I just never ended up wearing, but because it was mostly more cold, I was only in like one area where it was more warm. And so, yeah, I hate living out of a suitcase. I was gone for a long time, and that is my bonus thing that I want to tell you here, is that I thought that 21 days wasn't going to be long enough for me traveling abroad, and of course it's not if you are trying to see a lot, but it was a lot. It was a lot, and let me tell you, I hadn't even hit the 2-week mark yet of my trip, and I was like, wow, this is a really long trip. Like, I already feel like it's been so long, and I hadn't even hit the 2-week mark yet. I was definitely ready for, not that I would still be there if I could be. I didn't want to leave necessarily, but at the same time, I thought I would be in shambles leaving. I thought I would be honestly literally crying my eyes out to leave my trip, but I was kind of ready. And also, I got sick. There it is. I'm still kind of recovering, but I got sick on my last couple of days there, and I was just kind of tired of being out of routine. You know, I was eating like crap when I was eating, and I wasn't eating very much, but when I did eat, I just wasn't being as nutritious as I usually am. I didn't have access to a kitchen to cook my own food. I never really ended up going to the supermarket to buy food. I just kind of ate out every day, and you know, you're buying a lot, you're having to purchase everything when you are out traveling. And so I was definitely, like, I don't want to say ready to come back home, but I was at peace with coming back home, just because I did feel like such crap. And I think probably that was one of the reasons why I got sick, because I usually eat very well. I eat, you know, I drink smoothies every morning. I eat steak weekly here at home. You know, I always have my own food that I'm cooking, and I just wasn't able to do that. And I think lack of nutrition, and also being in the amount of public transit that I was in, I think it all just kind of caught up to me. And please tell me I'm in focus. It just kind of caught up to me, and yeah, I got sick. So that is all that I wanted to share with you for this video today on what I learned from solo travel abroad. God, I hope this is all in focus, but if it isn't, oh well, like, it's still gonna go live on my channel, and I will just put the captions on. And yeah, this is a camera that I have not yet recorded on, but my other camera, as I said, broke. The lens broke, so I have to get it fixed. So thank you guys for watching this. Please leave a comment if you enjoy content like this, and I'm so excited to hear from you. Ciao.